Tonight, the state Supreme Court is taking up the issue of secure drop boxes for absentee election ballots. Less than 2 years ago, the High Court ruled the boxes were illegal after their widespread use during the 2020 election amid the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The court now holds a liberal majority and today accepted a petition to bypass the Court of Appeals and granted an expedited review of the issue. Oral arguments now set for May.